Lebanon Leprechaun Show. I'm Dave Peach, and we welcome you today to the show. We are sponsored by FTIC. Happy to support the Lebanon Leprechauns, and they're a stamping and robotic welding manufacturer located in Jamestown, Indiana, and they are dedicated to being active and engaged in Jamestown and all of Boone County. You can find out more at FTICNA.com. And we are joined first by the coach, Mike Fagans, and Coach, 6-2 so far on the season. A lot of work to do. I guess, 33% into the to the season. Give us your assessment.
It's been a great start for us. As a coach, I hate losing. You always want to go 8-0, but our 2 losses have been great learning experiences for us. And last night we got to watch some video and just break it down a little bit and show our guys some of the things. And what I love about these guys are they're winners. We're talking last night, and we're 6-2, and we're almost talking like we're 3-5 just of the frustration, and that just shows like winners. And and I told our guys, after the game against St. Louis, our goal wasn't to go undefeated. Our goal is to win championship. And each day we got to get better to get to that goal, and find ways to get better. And I think that's what these 2 losses have done for us. I like we've got 1 through 12 guys who play hard, who's committed to the team, who's willing to do the little things to help us win, or give up part of who they are to help us win.
You talk about that, and this team is so balanced, and so many players can do so many things out there. You got shot blockers, assists, points, of course, rebounds, steals. We'll talk to one player who really stuffs the stat sheet, as we say. But you talk about giving up yourself because there's so many talented players on this roster.
It really is, and and that's the blessing of being a coach. One of our players said to me the other day, he said, "Man, Coach, you've got tough decisions," and it really is. And and that's what I think I love about our practices. Our guys challenge each other, but they know they're fighting for playing time. They know they're fighting to be part of this great equation that we have together. And and as great as when you see that, I know I could put a player in that maybe give us a boost here, or hey, this guy's doing something, we need somebody to go in for that area. And I think that's the key. Like I told our guys last night, nobody remembers who led the scoring 4 years ago, but they could tell you who won that championship. Mm-hmm. And that's something our guys have really taken a lot of pride in, is like, let's go win a championship. Let's do the little things to help us to get to that point.
You were an assistant last year, now the head coach. How has the adjustment gone for you?
It's funny, and I remember, being an assistant coach before I became a head coach. They always say those 6 inches moving over is tough. And, and I'm just like blessed to have, Coach Benson as an assistant coach, Coach Hurd as an assistant coach. But one of the things that I love about it is just building the relationships with the guys, and treating them professional, but just we've got guys who played a lot of basketball, who know basketball, and as a head coach is like taking that ingredients and making a recipe and putting it together. And I've loved it. I think one of the things I've got to do better is enjoying the wins. Like I'm always thinking the next day or the next game, but it's been a great blessing just to be able to have that. And working with Coach Keck last year was great, and his basketball knowledge, but to be able just to say, here we are, and this is our team. It's been a great blessing for me to be that.
And I'll let you talk about your background. Ball State grad, Purdue Masters, and a world traveler.
A lot of different things, yeah. I was a teacher for 33 years. Well, I was an educator for 33 years. I first started teaching at West Lafayette for 6 years. I worked underneath Coach Wood, and that was a great experience. And worked a lot of Purdue camps. And one of my dreams was to be a college coach. I always wanted just to be able to be a coach where all I had to worry about was coaching and not lesson plans and grading papers and stuff. Well, then I had kids, and you change your dreams and goals, and I raised a family and decided to be a high school coach, and that was a great blessing. And last year I was an assistant coach here, and then here I am the head coach. And I've worked camps like all over the world, in South America and Scotland and around the United States. And it's just like, I told the guys the other day, this has been a blessing because if I would have told myself at 20 that my dream was to be a full-time coach, I would have, thought, well, I don't know if that would ever happen. And here I am, 56, and getting to live that life. Like, God's timing is always the perfect time. And but it's been great. And like, I retired from education at the end of January, and this was able to get me to focus more on being a grandpa, but also being the head coach of these guys and working with these guys, and just getting them into the community and doing things. It's just been a great opportunity.
Okay, now talk about this viral post as far as country music night with you in a cowboy hat and players with names and kind of the Old West theme there. You really went all out for this.
We really did. Chris does a great job of running our team. I mean, he's all in. And our next home game is April 10th, and it's a country music night.
Yes.
And we've got a great country singer coming into town, Craig Campbell, who does a phenomenal job, has some great songs. And he's going to do our national anthem for our game. And then right after the game, there's going to be a concert at Four Fingers. And I know they're selling tickets for that. And we've got posters. And you talk about a great night to see some great basketball, but also to hear some great country music. And we went over to Cowpokes in Anderson, and a few of us got to dress up. And the guys were giving me a hard time because I put on the cowboy hat and had the jacket. And I started walking around kind of strutting and stuff. And they're like, Coach, you're really getting into this. And, I've never worn cowboy boots before until that day. And, I was fitting the part, and a couple of our guys just got into it. They're like, man, we need some horses, and, like, get out there.
Yeah.
So, but it was great. And I'm excited. I mean, like I said, the neat thing about our team this year, like our season, the organization, is we've had theme nights each night, and this is a big one. We're really pushing hard for country music night to get maybe some fans who normally don't go to a basketball game to come into a basketball game, but also to get that country music atmosphere. And what a great opportunity to have a national country music singer singing our national anthem.
It's going to be a great night again. Friday, April 10th. The Lebanon Leprechauns taking on the St. Louis Griffins. Got to get a win against them. We lost to them last week. And again, Coach, always fun to talk to you.
Thank you.
The Lebanon Leprechauns, it's a great asset for our community here, and we appreciate you being here on the show today.
Well, I appreciate this. I didn't get this opportunity last year, so I wanted to make sure I take advantage of it.
He's got it. Coach Mike Fagans, head coach of the Lebanon Leprechauns. And again, April 10th, Country Music Night. It is Lebanon versus St. Louis. We have players coming up next on the Lebanon Leprechaun Show. Lebanon Leprechaun Show. I'm Dave Peach, and again, we want to salute our sponsor, FTIC in Jamestown. And we've got the stat stuffer. I mean, you and Omega kind of go back and forth, Omega Harris, but we got Antoine Cushingberry, an NAIA All-American at the University of St. Francis, where he scored 2,400 points, a veteran of the TBL. Antoine, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate, having me. First and foremost, I do want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to do things like this and still play basketball. So I really do appreciate it.
You and Hunter's the preacher.
Yeah,
right?
He is, man. We do call him the preacher. We go to him for a lot of questions and just talk to him about a lot of Bible stuff. So.
And you have a Bible study.
Yeah, we do. I haven't been to one. I'm gonna make one for sure. It's at his house. So a lot of times after practices, I just get to the crib because it's super late. But I'm definitely gonna make one.
Very good. Now, your basketball background, we have talked about this on the air so many times, 2,400 points in college. And we were talking before, they give you a basketball like and a very special commemoration for 1,000 points. You got 2,400 points at St. Francis, and that's the all-time scoring mark there. How was that career? I mean, it had to be fantastic.
Yeah, man, it was a blessing. Like I said, shout out to Coach Lacrosse and Coach Cummins. They gave me an opportunity. They trusted me to, run the show, run the team, and just being there. Some of my best friends I went to college with, I made just playing basketball and scoring the 2,400 points. Like I told you earlier, that's something I really don't even think about just because I still play and I haven't really had time to just stop and think about the significance of that. But for the most part, like I said, it's a blessing.
And very successful there in the wins and losses. I know I'm looking at here, and sometimes I'm wrong, but 3 of the 4 years, 20 games as far as in the win column.
Yep. The 3 of the 5 years, I stayed 5 years, so 3 of the 5, we definitely won more than 20. I think 1 year we got to 30.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's a winning program. Like I said, Coach Lacrosse and Coach Cummins did a great job recruiting and just coaching us the way that we should have been coached. So.
Looks like you scored double figures. I mean, 13-3, 18-1, 21-9, 17-8. I mean, it was very consistent.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I just put my head down and I kind of work. I love basketball. That's one of my first loves outside of Jesus Christ. But that's just something I kind of just, hang my hat on and just working hard, putting my head down, grinding, and just keeping my foot on the gas pedal. So.
You have an undergrad and a master's. What are they
Correct. I got my undergrad in business administration, and I got my master's in business administration as well. So I got my MBA. So, like I said, I went to St. Francis for 5 years. That last year, I got my master's, I think, in 13 months or so. But like I said, it's all just God and what He wants me to do, and I'm just excited. That's probably the one thing, like I told you, that's one of the things I will always brag about is just getting my degree. That's something that I take pride in for sure.
That is fantastic. Now, basketball. As far as professional basketball, Rookie of the Year in 2024 in the TBL. Great Falls made it to the TBL finals. Was it last year?
Yep,
and you
last
lost
year.
to Potawatomi.
Yeah, we lost in the semifinals to Potawatomi.
Got it, semifinals, yeah. And how was that? I know that's way up north. What state?
Oklahoma. Oh, Great Falls is in Montana. But
yes.
Potawatomi's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's right. Now, but you played at Great Falls.
Yep, I've been playing in Montana.
So how was it playing that far away from home?
I mean, I've been away from home basically my whole life. AAU, travel basketball, and college and everything. So it wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't nothing that I couldn't handle. I played in Europe as well. So I think Europe was more, kind of like a culture shock than anything. But playing in Montana was okay. It was pretty cold. It was one time I was there, it's like the end of May, it snowed like 6-7 inches. So yeah, it was pretty crazy out there, but it's definitely beautiful. Just the scenery and just the nature side of things.
So you played in Europe where?
I played in Albania for a year. I went there I think I left September, and then the season was over like beginning of March. So.
Wow. And here in Lebanon, looking at your stat lines here, I mean, we look at stats, I mean, but I would just say, I'm going to sum it up, consistent. Mm-hmm. You are just so consistent, steals and all that. And I guess it really, obviously, just a great work ethic coming right out of college into pro and now here in Lebanon. Yeah,
that's something that I kind of don't try to get too caught up in stats, but it's a part of the game, so that's something that you have to look at. But I'm not the tallest guy, so I mean, I gotta just do what I can, and if that's stealing, if that's getting my teammates involved, if it's scoring that game, just whatever I can do to win. I really love to win, so just if I can just keep doing the best that I can do to be an impact on my team, that's what I want to do.
About the team, there are so many impact players.
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
this team. We go up and down. Everybody brings their best to contribute, and right now 6-2, and I got to think that things will only get better.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, I mean, God willing, like Coach said, man, we had a good film session yesterday and just talked about the things that we need to work on and get better as a team. And I think as a championship team, being a part of a championship team before, those are the things that I've seen that this team does have. We're not scared to speak up. I feel like we do like each other. We might not like each other every day, but that's a part of a team and growing and trying to get better every day. Like you said, we have great players, 1 through 12 or 13, however many players we got on the team. Like I know if I come out and somebody else come in, it's gonna be the same intensity, same energy. Like you said, shout out to Omega, man. He stuffs the stat sheets as well. So I love playing with all the guys and just seeing them, do what they do to help us win.
And what would you like to say to the fans out there?
I just want to say I appreciate you guys. We keep we keep needing you guys to be at the games. That support is amazing. It gets us going, just feeding off your energy. It's a blessing to have you guys there, and please keep coming to the games.
All right, Antoine, we appreciate you being on the show today, and we'll see you on the road on TBL TV and also Country Music Night on April
Definitely.
the 10th.
Come to Country Music Night. It's going to be exciting.
Very good. Antoine Cushingberry, Lebanon Leprechauns. This is the Lebanon Leprechaun Show presented by FTIC. Lebanon Leprechaun Show, and bringing back some terminology from the past. The big fella. We've been saying the big fella. I don't know. It sounds good. We have the big fella here, Coriante DeBerry. Coriante, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, we are doing fine, and you're the player from the University of Cincinnati, playing overseas, kind of the veteran of this squad. We've seen you in other uniforms over the years, and now you, as I told Derek Hawthorne, you look good in a Lebanon Leprechaun jersey. And tell us about how you kind of adapted to being a part of this ensemble cast here in Lebanon.
Well, shout out to our Lebanon staff, John, Chris. Them guys, they did some recruiting when I was not a Leprechaun to get me to their TBT team. At the time I was with St. Louis. They talked me into getting me here, ended up playing for their TBT team, and when I was here in Indiana, they showed me hospitality, even while it was a tournament going on. It wasn't their season, but they showed me great hospitality. They make sure we ate. They make sure we had everything we needed. I think we had a couple talks about possibilities. So once we had a couple talks about that, I just kept in contact with them, and then made some changes over the off season, and they made it happen, and I'm glad to be here.
And you're out of Saginaw, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your background there.
So born and raised Saginaw, Michigan. My mom decided to move to Holland, Michigan for me before I went to high school. So I did high school in Holland, Michigan, at Holland High School. And out there, I went to Hutch, that's in Kansas. Played basketball there for a year for JUCO, and then got recruited by the University of Cincinnati. That's how I made it to Ohio.
Is it Huggy Bear?
I was with Mick Cronin.
Mick Cronin.
Mick Cronin.
See, I look. You made the NCAA tournament in 2016. My mind is thinking it wasn't Bob Huggins.
Nah.
Now you played in this game against Purdue, and we don't want to bring up bad memories for Purdue, but if memory serves me correct, there was a shot near the buzzer that rolled around and went in when you were on that team. Or I got the year right.
Well, actually, 2015.
Okay, 15.
16. Was another
But you were
year.
on the team.
Yes, sir.
We'll
yes,
take
sir.
it as a win.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Describe that moment.
So actually, 15, Troy Crupain, one of my point guards, he hit a buzzer beater layup that led us into overtime against Purdue. And then during that overtime is when they let me out the cage. And then, I was able to come up big for us in that overtime, and we got the win over Purdue.
How is it being in that tournament?
It's different. Atmosphere is crazy. You can hear, you're on the basketball court, you can hear the hardwood rattling and shaking because of so many people just going crazy in the crowd. So you talking about Purdue, we talk about teams like Kentucky that we had to play right after. Just that whole atmosphere was just, it's unreal. So
Probably an experience you never will forget.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, that's crazy. So, University of Cincinnati, and then overseas, Thailand, Canada, Germany, Portugal. Highly sought after talent, right?
Yep. My last stop was in Spain. Was one of my best years overseas. My last stop. That was a whole different culture change right there, because German Had to learn German a little bit. I had to learn some Portuguese and some Spain, but I had fun. I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot of new things. So,
And you know, I'm fascinated when I talk to the players that have been overseas. I mean, you're kind of like by yourself, right? I mean, how does that work? I mean, I know you have a team, but I mean, as far as you're away from home, there's no, I don't know, describe how that works.
So I played probably 6.5 years overseas total. The first 3 years was difficult because my first 3 years, my first stop was in Thailand. Ended up winning a championship there. But the language, the culture was all different. My coach was a Canadian guy, but he was well taught in Thai. So I was able to communicate, but I had to communicate through him to talk to some of my teammates and coaches and stuff like that. So just that, and then Germany was also a little difficult because of the language, but one thing I do learn that once you're with a team and they are interested into trying to do what they can to communicate with you. So that was the best part, being around guys who care about you and want to be your teammate. So they do whatever they can to be able to communicate with me. So it wasn't, impossible to communicate. It was just, I had to do my part and they had to do their part for us to be on the same page.
Wow. And the TBL journey for you that has taken you to Lebanon, you played at St. Louis.
Yeah, so before
now you're with the Lebanon Leprechaun, so your TBL journey.
Yeah. So once I decided to move back to the States, I had a 2-year-old. It's one of the reasons why I decided to give up going to Europe because of my baby girl. And I met the TBL League itself and met the Cincinnati Warriors. I decided to play with them to be able to stay close to home, be in my daughter's life every day. So I took the journey of playing in the TBL with the Warriors. I think I played with them for about 3 years. Then I went on to play with St. Louis, and now I'm here with the Leprechauns.
What are your thoughts on this Leprechaun team?
Oh man, this is probably one of the best. I would say this is the best team I've been on in terms of it's not just basketball. So when I say it's not just basketball, I found that my journey here is also a path of following God. I have a really good friend on the team, Hunter Bodie. Every other day we have a Bible study for like 4 hours. Sometimes,
4 hours?
This is true. This is true. We had one for a couple times, maybe for 4 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes we lose track of time. Depends on what we're talking about. And I learned that even we have team Bible studies as well, called character development, that coach put together for us. It's something that changed my life because the stops I've been at, we never had a chance to talk about God. You know what I mean? And that's something that's new to me because it's basketball and it's God as well. And it's something that I've never been a part of in different places. And I love it. And then I say it does work on my character. It has me thinking differently about things a little bit. Never really had a coaching staff that cared that much about off the court, what we thinking about mentally. And that tells me a lot about what we got going on here.
Wow. Well, there is definitely something about this team. And it's, I've seen Hunter share his testimony after the game, Antoine talking about his relationship with Jesus Christ, you talking about yours. It's inspirational for me, and I tell you, wins and losses, stats and all that, those are going to be, people are going to keep track of that, but it's really that bond with the team and your inspiration to me and others that I think is far more important than what we see on a basketball court.
Yeah, because after this season is done, and hopefully it's done with the championship, we're going to remember that championship, but we're also going to remember that this wasn't just a normal basketball season. Even, I'm not putting this out there, but even if nothing happens for us this season, I'm still not going to forget the impact that being here had on me off the court as well.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Coach, what can we say about that? I mean, that's well, we are so happy you're here in Lebanon.
For sure.
So happy to hear your story, and you are the big fella.
I am the big fella. We got another big fella, but I'm one of them for sure.
Yeah, you got Chris, the big fella. But we enjoy watching you and enjoy following the Leprechauns. And you're ready for country music night?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I told you, I stayed a year in Kansas, so it's a lot of country music on the radio.
We got it. Coriante to Barry. Big thank you to Antoine Cushing-Berry and the coach, Mike Fagans, Matt Foxworthy, getting us on the air today again. The Lebanon Leprechaun Show here, presented by FTIC. And do not forget, Country Music Night, April the 10th at the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse. Craig Campbell will sing the anthem, and then afterwards, it is a special concert at Four Finger Distillery. And we should say Chris Canal will appreciate us mentioning a meet and greet at 4 o'clock on April the 10th at Backroads Barbecue. Looking forward to all of that. Go Leprechauns!